Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do paper 1 for foundation for May 2025. This video aims to provide a detailed solution for all of the questions that came in foundation paper 1. I'll be uploading a video for foundation paper 2 and same for higher, H and HR. So let's start with this one and see whether this one was easy or difficult overall. So it says write a number in each box that each calculation is correct. So 475 plus something is 1200. What you'll do is you'll subtract 475 from 1200 and that's going to give us 725. Then 180 times something equals to 5760. So now we divide 5760 by 180 and that's going to equal to 32. So we're doing the reverse operation. When you take it to the other side, it gets subtracted. And when you take 180 to the other side, it divides. Then here are 4 discs. There is a number on each disc. Using each disc only once, write down the smaller number that can be made. So we can use the disc only once. The smaller number that can be made is 4, 5, 7, 8. Then write down the largest even number that can be made. So that can be 8754. That's the largest one. That's your answer for this one. And the pictogram shows some information about the number of tires sold in a garage each month from January to April. According to the key, 1 full circle equals to 8 tires. How many tires were sold in January? So in January, we have 1, 2, 3 full tires. So that's going to be 3 times 8, and that's 24. Then work out the total number of tires sold in the 4 months from January to April. So this is 24. Feb is going to be 4 times 8, which is 32. March is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 8 plus a quarter, so that's going to be 2. That's 42. Then April is 1, 2, 3. So 3 times 8 plus 4, that's 28. So total is going to be sum of all of these. So we do 24 plus 32 plus 42 and then plus 28. That gives us 126 as the total number of tires from Jan to April. Then in May, 22 tires were sold. Show this information on the pictogram. So there are 22 tires. So we know 8 times 2 is 60. So let's first draw 2 full circles. So there are 22 tires. So 60 plus 6 is 22. So we draw a 3/4 circle like this. So that is your 22 tires for me. Then here's a prism. How many faces has the prism? That's like such in weird English. How many faces does the prism have? So faces are like the surfaces that we see basically. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The shape has 6 faces. Then how many vertices does it have? So vertices are these corner points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In case they asked about what edges are the lines that connect to draw the shape. So for edges, I'm just going to write that over here as well for your understanding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 edges for this prism. Then A and B are points in a circle with center O. Write down the mathematical name of the line AB. AB is your diameter because the line is passing through the center of the circle and the line is touching the circumference, like the boundary of the circle. So that's the diameter. Then write down the mathematical name of the line CD. That is your tangent. Tangent is the line that just touches the circumference of the circle. It never crosses it. Then simplify 4 times 5e. So we just multiply 4 with 5, that's 20, and e comes as it is. Solve f plus 14 equals 29. we will take 14 to the other side. So it becomes 29 minus 14, which is 15. Then write 0.6 as a percentage. To write anything as a percentage, you multiply it by 100. Never divide it, you multiply it. That's going to give us 60%. Then write 19 over 100 as a decimal. When you're writing something as a decimal, imagine that the numerator has a decimal at its end. So if it's division, you move the decimal that many places to the left-hand side. We have 2 zeros in 100, so we move the decimal 2 places to the left-hand side. If it was multiplication by 100, you would move the decimal 2 places to the right. So that's 0.19. What fraction of this shape is shaded? Write your fraction in simplest form. So let's first count how many squares we have in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Denominator is 20. And for the numerator, 4 are unshaded. So that means we have 16 in the numerator. 16 and 20 come in the 4 times table. So we simplify it to 4 over 5. That is a simplified fraction. Then here are the first 4 terms of a number sequence, 7, 11, 15, and 19. Write on the next term of the sequence. So we need to first check whether there's a common difference in each term or not. 7 becomes an 11 after we add 4 to it. 11 becomes a 15 after we add a 4. And 15 becomes 19 after we add a 4. So that means the next term, we will add 4 as well, which is going to give us 23. Explain how you found your answer to part A. Each term is increasing by 4. That's how you found the answer. Find the 12th term of the sequence. So now for the 12th term, we need to first create the nth term. So nth term over here would be, each term is increasing by 4. So 4 times n, and then plus 3. Why plus 3? Because if we take 4n as the nth term, 4 times 1 gives us 4 as the first term. And the first term is 7, not 4. So how can we turn a 4 into a 7? By adding 3. Same if we take 11. 4 times 2 would be 10. 4 times 2 would be 8. 8 plus 3 would give us 11. So the nth term is 4n plus 3. So for the 12th term, 4 times 12 plus 3, which is equal to 51. That's the 12th term. Then the normal price of a calculator is 26.80 pounds. Amy gets 1/4 of the normal price with a student discount card. Amy buys 2 of these calculators. She pays with a £50 note. How much change should Amy receive? So firstly, she's getting 1/4 off. So discount is going to be 104 times 26.80, which equals 6.70 pounds. So a new price is going to be 26.80 minus 6.70, which equals 20.10 pounds. Now she's buying 2 calculators. So cost of 2 calculators is 2.2 times 20.10, which is 40.20 pounds. So she's paying 50, so your change is going to be 50 minus 40.20. So your change is going to be 9.80 pounds. That's your answer. Then complete the table of values for y equals to 2x minus 1. So in this one, you just substitute the x values into the equation to find the missing y values. So for y equals to 2 times negative 2 minus 1, that's negative 4 minus 1, that's negative 5. Then y equals to 2 times negative 1 minus 1, that's negative 2 minus 1, which is negative 3. Then 2 times 1 minus 1, that's equal to 1. And 2 times 2 minus 1, that is equal to 3. These are your values of x. Now we'll plot these points on the grid to draw a graph. So first was -2, -5. So that's going to be over here. Then -1, -3, 0, -1, 1, 1, 2 and 3, and 3 and 5. Once you've plotted the points, you connect it using a ruler with a straight line, and that's your graph. This is Tamseen asked some people how they prefer their eggs cooked. They could choose scrambled or boiled or poached or fried. The pie chart shows some information about their answers. Use the pie chart to complete the table. So we have the angles for fried, scrambled, and boiled. So first, I would start with finding the angle for poached. So for poached, we will subtract all of these angles from 360. So 360 minus 48, minus 72, and then minus 132. That is going to give us a value of 108 degrees. That's for poached. So they want us to figure out the frequency and the angle for sector for each. So we have 108 over here for the angle. Now for the frequency, what we will do is, we know that the frequency for scrambled is 6 and the angle is 72. So we will use scrambled first to figure out the total number of people, and then using that, we will figure out the frequency for boiled, poached, and fried. So 6 equals to 72 out of 360 times x, x being the total frequency. So that means if we do 72 divided by 360, that's 0.2. So then x would be 6 divided by 0.2, which equals 30. So 30 is the total frequency. Now for boiled, we will do 132 over 360 times the total frequency to get the number of people for boiled egg. So 132 times 30 divided by 360, that's 11. So that's for boiled. Then for poached, it's going to be 108 over 360 times 30, which equals 9. And then for fried, we can just subtract 6, 11, and 9 from 30, which is equal to 4. So 4 people eat fried, 9 poached, 11 boiled, and 6 scrambled. One of these people is selected at random. Write on the probability that this person has chosen scrambled. So 6 out of 30, which can be simplified to 1 out of 5 as well. Because there's 6 people who choose scrambled, and we know that the total frequency is 30. Then boxes are put into a crate. Each box is a cuboid, 16 by 4 by 6 centimeters. The crate is a cuboid, 80 by 12 by 42 centimeters. Work out the greatest number of boxes that can be put into the crate. So you'll find the volume of the box first. (16) times 4 times 6, that equals 384 centimeter cube. Then we find the volume of crate. That's 80 times 12 times 42. That gives us 40,320 centimeter cube. So now to find the number of boxes, we will divide the volume of the crate by the volume of the box. So 40,320 divided by 384. The reason why we're dividing the volume of the crate by the volume of the box, because the box is going to be put inside the crate, not the other way around. So we need to see how many boxes will fit into this. So that's going to give us a value of 105. So 105 boxes can be put into the grid. That's like the biggest number. A shop sells boxes of almonds. 12 of these boxes cost a total of 708 dirhams. Work out the cost of 5 of these boxes. So we have the cost of 12 boxes. So cost of one box is going to be 708 divided by 12. That's 59 dirhams. Now the cost of 5 boxes is going to be 5 times 59. That equals 295 dirhams. So that is your answer. Then it says Seb went into a restaurant at 18:15. He left the restaurant at 21:40. Work out the time that Seb spent in the restaurant. Give your answer in hours and minutes. So we will subtract 21:40 because that's the time he left the restaurant from the time he arrived at the restaurant. So 21:40 minus 18:15. 0 minus 5 is impossible, so we carry a 1. 10 minus 5 is 5. This becomes a 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. Once again, 1 is smaller than 8, so we can't subtract it. So we carry a 1 from here, and this becomes 11. 11 minus 8, 3, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So 3 hours and 25 minutes. Then on Friday, the restaurant sold 120 meals. 48 of these meals were vegetarian meals. Work out the percentage of the meals sold on Friday that were vegetarian meals. So we do 48 divided by 120 because 48 out of 120 are vegetarian meals. And then we just times this fraction by 100. As I mentioned earlier, when you're trying to find the percentage, we always multiply the decimal, the fraction, or the number by 100. So that's going to give us 40%. Then show that 3 over 7 plus 1 over 4 equals to 19 over 28. So we're going to focus on the left-hand side. When we're adding or subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, the first step is to make the denominators equal. So to make the denominators equal, I will multiply the first fraction by 4 and the second fraction by 7. And then what we have is 12 over 28 and 7 over 28. As you can see, both the denominators are equal now. So we can add the numerators and keep the denominator single as it is. You never add the denominator, you add the numerators. So that's going to give us 19 over 28. And that's exactly the same as the fraction given in the question. Expand x bracket x minus 7. Whenever we have a term outside the bracket, that gets multiplied with all of the terms inside the bracket. So x times x and then minus 7 times x. That's x squared minus 7x. Then factorize 8y minus 10. Now it's the opposite. In expansion, you are combining them together. And in factorization, you're bringing them back into bracket form. So we see what is the highest common factor between 8y and 10. We know both 8 and 10 come in the 2 times table. So we take 2 common. And in the bracket, we're left with 4y minus 5. That is the factorized form. Then m equals to 5a plus 7b. Work out the value of a when m is 48 and b is 3. So we just substitute the value of m and b in the equation to find the value of a. So 48 equals to 5a plus 7 times 3. 48 equals to 5a plus 21. 48 minus 21 equals to 5a. That's going to be 27. So a is 27 divided by 5, which is 5.4. That's the value of a. Then Adam sells chocolate cakes and lemon cakes. The ratio of number of chocolate cakes he sells, the number of lemon cakes he sells is 5:7. He sells 40 chocolate cakes. Adam sells each chocolate cake for $8.50. He sells each lemon cake for $12.75. Work out the total money Adam gets for selling cakes. Okay. So we have a ratio. We know how many chocolate cakes he's selling, and we know the price at which he's selling both the chocolate cake and the lemon cake. What's given in the question is the ratio for the number of chocolate cakes and lemon cakes he sells. They have given us the number of chocolate cakes, and then they've given the price at which he's selling both the cakes. So we have a ratio of 5:7. And we know chocolate is 40. We can turn 5 into 40 by multiplying it by 8, which means to get the lemon cakes based on this ratio, we also multiply 7 by 8, and that gives us 56. So lemon cakes are 56. Chocolate is 40. So to find the selling of chocolate, that's going to be 40 times 8.5, which is going to give us $340. And for the selling of lemon, that's going to be 56 times 12.75, which is going to give us $714. So for the total money, we just add the two quantities. So 340 plus 714, and that is going to give us $1,504. That is the amount of money he earns from selling the cakes. So far, I think the question paper is quite straightforward. I haven't seen any complicated one here. Then we have the Venn diagram. Some students were asked if they study French or Spanish. The Venn diagram gives information about the result. The values shown represent number of students. How many of these students study only French or only Spanish? Only French is 9 and only Spanish is 8. So we will do 9 plus 8, and that is 17. 9 plus 6 would be people who study French and include the people who study Spanish, because this is the common part. So these people study French and Spanish, so you need to be very careful about this. Only French is 9 and only Spanish is 8. So total students would be 17 for that. Then one of these students is chosen at random. Find the probability that this student studies both French and Spanish. So for both French and Spanish, that was this one. And they have not given us total students, so we find the total students. Total is going to be 9 plus 6 plus 8 plus 2. You write the common region number only once. You don't write 6 twice. Always once. So that's going to be 25. So probability over here is going to be 6 out of 25. Because 6 people study both French and Spanish out of the total 25 people. The diagram shows the plan of a stage. The stage is made up of a rectangle and an isosceles triangle. Yuko is going to cover the stage with varnish. She needs to buy enough tins of varnish to cover the stage with 1 coat of varnish. Each tin of varnish covers an area of 4 meters square. Work out the smallest number of tins of varnish that Yuko needs to buy. Show your working clearly. So we have a rectangle joined with an isosceles triangle. If this length is 6, this is also 6. So if you notice, for the triangle, we have the base and we have the height. So we can easily find the area of the triangle and the area of the rectangle because we have the dimensions for that as well. So let's start with finding the area of rectangle. So that's going to be 6 times 8, which is 48 centimeters square. Then we find area of triangle. That's 1 over 2 times the base, which is 6, and the height is 3. The height is supposed to be the perpendicular height, never the slant height. So that gives us 9 centimeters square. So we know each tin will cover 4 meters square. Total area over here for this stage is 48 plus 9, which is 57 centimeters square. So to find the number of tins, we will divide the total area of the stage by the area covered by each tin of varnish. So number of tins would be 57 divided by 4, and that gives us 14.25 tins. Now, obviously, you can't get the tins like in decimals, so the smallest number would be 15 tins. We can't buy 14 tins because that would not cover the entire stage. So the smallest possible value turns out to be 15, not 14. Remember, you cannot round down because 14 tins will not completely cover it. So we need it to be 15. The table gives information about the distances 100 adults travel to work. Write on the model class. So model class is the class which shows the highest frequency, and that is this one, when the distance is greater than 5 but less than equal to 10. Then it says work out an estimate for the mean distance. So for the mean distance, what we need to do is we need to find the midpoint of the distances because we cannot use the intervals like this. So what we will do is we will create a separate column where we will find all of the midpoints for each of these intervals. And that's going to be our x value. So midpoint of 0 and 5 is 2.5. 5 and 10 have a midpoint of 7.5. 10 and 15 is 12.5. 15 and 20 is 17.5. And 25 is 22.5. These are your midpoints. Now we will multiply these midpoints with the frequency value, which will give us the f of x value. Should give us f times x value. So frequency times x. So that's going to be 26 times 2.5, 40 times 7.5, 16 times 12.5, 10 times 17.5, and 8 times 22.5. So for the first one, it's going to be 65, then it's 300, then it's 200, 175, and 180. So once we have our f times x value, we will add them up and divide it by the total frequency, which is 100. So mean is going to be 65 plus 300 plus 200 plus 175 plus 180 divided by 100, and that gives us a value of 9.2. So 9.2 kilometers is your mean distance. Then it says Anna makes cups. Each cup costs 6 Swiss francs to make. Anna puts the cups into boxes to sell. Each box contains 4 cups. Anna sells 80 boxes of cups for a total of 2,160 Swiss francs. Work out the percentage profit Anna makes. Show your working clearly. So for the profit, we need the cost and the selling price for the 80 boxes of cups that she is selling in total. So each cup costs 6 Swiss francs. And each box has 4 cups. There are 80 boxes in total. So we need to figure out the number of cups first. So number of cups is going to be 80 times 4. Because one box has 4 cups. So 80 boxes will have 320 cups. That's the first thing. Now cost of 1 cup is 6 Swiss francs. So cost of 320 cups is going to be 320 times 6, which equals 1,920 Swiss francs. Now they've told us that he sold them for 2160. So for the percentage profit, it's going to be 2160 minus 1920 divided by 1920 times 100. That equals to 12.5%. The reason why I subtracted 2160 and then 1920, then divide by 1920 is we need to find the profit. Profit is your difference between the selling price and the cost price. Selling price was 2160. Cost was 1920. So when we subtract the two, we get what the profit is. And since they're saying percentage profit, so to find the percentage, we divide the profit by the amount that was spent in making the cups and then multiply the result by 100 to get the percentage. Because for percentage, we always have to times the quantity by 100. Then the height of each cup is 9 centimeters, correct to the nearest centimeter. Write on the lower bound of the height. So for the lower bound, the degree of accuracy is nearest centimeter. So that's 1, then divided by 2, that's 0.5. So lower bound would be 9 minus 0.5, which is 8.5 centimeters. Then the weight of each cup is 120 grams, correct to the nearest 10 grams. Right on the upper bound. So now it's correct to the nearest 10 grams. So we divide 10 by 2, which is 5. So upper bound would be 120 plus 5 now, which is 125 grams. So that is your upper bound. For these, whatever it's nearest to, you divide that quantity by 2 and then add or subtract based on what you're trying to find. If you're trying to find the upper bound, you will add that thing. If you're trying to find the lower bound, you would subtract it. A, B, and B are two sides of a regular polygon with n sides. Work out the value of n. So you're working clearly. This question has appeared in the past papers so frequently that if you solve them, it's very simple. It's not a hard question. For this, you need to remember that full circle angle is 360. Okay, this is angles around a point, and angles around a point always add up to 360. So a part of 360 is 50 and 148. So we can first begin with finding angle B. So angle ABC is going to be 360 minus 148 minus 50, which equals to 162 degrees. So that's 162. AB and BC are the sides of a polygon. So this and these two lengths are the sides of a polygon, which means 162 is the interior angle of this regular polygon. In a regular polygon, all sides and angles are equal. So 162 is like the common interior angle. All of the interior angles are going to be 162. So to find the value of n, we have the interior angle. We can use the interior angle formula, which is n minus 2 times 180 over n. So based on this, 162 equals to n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. Cross multiply 162n, expand the bracket, 180n minus 360. 360 equals to 180n minus 162n. That's going to give us 18n. And then we divide 360 by 18. And our number of sides are going to be 20. You can also use the exterior angle to find it. Exterior angle for this is 162 subtracted by 180. That will give the exterior angle, and then you can use that to figure out the value of the number of sides. For exterior angle, we will subtract 180 and 162, which gives us 18. Exterior angle is not the entire thing. Exterior angle is this extra angle that you get when you extend the line. When you extend in a straight line, So the angle between that straight line and the given side, that is your exterior angle. So for that, number of sides would be then 360 divided by 18. Same thing as we did over here, and that also gives you 20. So it all depends on your understanding, which is easier for you to solve and which is less time consuming for you. You can use the interior and both the exterior angle to figure out the number of sides of a regular polygon. It says x to the power of 5 times x to the power of 7 equals to x to the power of m. Find the value of m. So whenever we have similar bases being multiplied, we add the powers. That's going to be x to the power of 12. So m is 12. Then y to the power of a divided by y cube equals to y to the power of n. Whenever we have similar bases being divided, we will subtract the powers. So n is 5. Then it says simplify fully 5a to the power 4 r square whole power cube. So when there's a power inside the bracket and outside the bracket, you multiply the powers and the power gets distributed on both the numbers and the variables. So it's going to be 5 cube times a to the power 4 whole cube times r square whole cube. 5 cube is 125. A would be 4 times 3 in the power because we're multiplying them, and r would be 2 times 3 in the power. So that's 125 a to the power of 12 r to the power of 6. That is your fully simplified answer. Then in a sale, normal prices are reduced by 28%. The sale price of watch is 198 euros. Work out the normal price of the watch. So the prices are reduced by 28% and the sale price is 198, which means 198 is basically 72% of the original price. Because if it's being reduced by 28%, what's left is 72%. So 198 equals to 0.72 times x. X is the original price. So we divide 198 by 0.72, and that gives us a value of 275 euros. That is the original price of the watch. Then we have algebraic fractions. Then we have an algebraic fraction. They're asking us to solve x minus 4 equals to 3 plus 2x over 6. Show clear algebraic working. So whenever we have a fraction on one side and just like straight equation on the other side, you can cross multiply to get rid of the fraction. So when you cross multiply, it becomes 6 times x minus 4 and 3 plus 2x on the other side. When we expand the bracket, 6x minus 24 equals to 3 plus 2x. Collect the like terms on each side. 6x minus 2x equals to 3 plus 24. Remember, when you move the term from one side to the other side, the sign will change. If it's being added, on the other side, it gets subtracted. If it's being multiplied, on the other side, it divides. So it's the opposite thing. 4x equals to 27, and x is 27 divided by 4, which is equal to 6.75. Then factorize y squared minus 11y plus 30. So for the factorization, you can either use splitting the middle term or you can use the quadratic formula, whichever is easy for you. If you use splitting the middle term, we multiply the coefficient of y squared with the constant. We multiply the coefficient of y squared with the constant. So 1 times 30 is 30. Once we've done that, we need to find factors of 30. So apart from 1 times 30, we have 5 times 6, 15 times 2, and then 1 times 30. Next step is to choose that set of factors which when added or subtracted give us the middle term, which is 11. So that's going to be 5 and 6 because 5 plus 6 is 11. So what we do is we replace negative 11y with negative 6y minus 5y. Everything else is exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the middle term. After this, we split the equation into two groups. The first group is the first two terms, and the last group is the last two terms. So using this, we'll factor these two groups separately. In the first group, the highest common factor is y. So y minus 6 goes in the bracket. And the last two terms, negative 5 is the highest common factor. So y minus 6 in the bracket. Now between y and negative 5, we have y minus 6 common. So y minus 5 goes in the other bracket. And this is your fully factorized answer. You don't do anything after that. In the next step, it says, hence solve y square minus 11y plus 30 equals to 0. Now they're asking us to solve it, which means we need to find the value of y now. So if this equation, the same equation equals to 0, that means y minus 6 times y minus 5 also equals to 0. So we split the brackets, put both of them equal to 0, and that gives y as 6 and y as 5. These are the two values of y. So remember, when it's factorization, you leave it in the form of brackets. When it's solving, then you will find the value of the variable given in the equation. Then it says, here's a solid cylinder. The radius of the cylinder is 8 centimeters. The height of the cylinder is 8 centimeters. The volume of the cylinder is 3,892 centimeter cube. Work out the value of h. Give your answer correct to one decimal place. So volume of a cylinder is pi r square h. 3,892 is the volume. Radius is 8 square. Height is what we're trying to find. So we will divide 3,892 by 64 pi. 8 square is 64. So 64 pi comes on the other side and divides the volume. So when you divide the two, what we get is, that's 19.36 centimeters. We want the answer correct to one decimal place, so that's 19.4. That's the height of the cylinder. Then write 520 million in standard form. So let's first write it in digits. 520 million. So that means 6 zeros after 520. So in standard form, it would be 5.2 times 10 to the power of 8. Then write 8.79 times 10 to the power of negative 5 as an ordinary number. So now we have to move the decimal 5 places to the left hand side. So 0.0000879. That is your ordinary number. Then work out 5 times 10 to the power of 42 times 7 times 10 to the power of negative 180 in your answer standard form. So for this, what you can do is, we can times the 5 to the 7, and then for the 10, we can see that the base is exactly the same. So we can add the powers. So 5 times 7 is 35, and it's going to be 10 to the power of 42 plus negative 180. That gives us a value of negative 138. Now they want the answer in standard form. This is in standard form. In standard form, your decimal comes after the first non-zero digit. So every whole number has a decimal at its end. So if I move this one place over here, we're going to add 1 to the power. So when you add 1 to the power, it becomes 3.5 times 10 to the power of negative 137. Since the power was negative, when you add 1, it increases by 1. So it becomes negative 137. So that's your answer in standard form. Then ABCD is a trapezium with line of symmetry. Then ABCD is a trapezium with one line of symmetry. Angle ADC is 60. The length of AD is 12 and DC is 47 centimeters. We have to work out the area of the trapezium, giving your answer correct to 3 significant figures and show your working clearly. So if it's like, so if it has one line of symmetry, that means like if we draw a triangle over here, both the triangles are congruent to each other. Same angles, same sides. This is 60, this would also be 60. To find the area of this trapezium, we need the length of AB. So to find the length of AB, I will first find this length of the triangle. Let me just highlight it. We need this. Because once we have this, We can subtract that from 47 and that would give us the length of AB. So let's start with solving the right angle triangle first over here. These two are right angles. So we have AD, which is the hypotenuse. We have the angle. We need to find the adjacent. Adjacent is the length on which the angle lies. So we can use SOHCAHTOA over here. We cannot use Pythagoras because we don't have two lengths of the triangle. We only have one length. So adjacent is what we need to find. Hypotenuse is given. So we'll use cos of 60 equals to x over 12. Remember, SOHCAHTOA. If the opposite was given along with the hypotenuse, then you can use sine. If opposite and adjacent are given, you can use tan. So since we have the hypotenuse, we have to find the adjacent. We use cosine. So cross multiply. 12 times cos 60 equals to x, which gives us a value of 6. So 6 centimeters is this length. So if this is 6 and this is 6, AB is going to be 47 minus 6 and 6, and that equals 35. So we have the length of AB, that's 35. Now, another thing we need to find for the trapezium is the height, this perpendicular height. We cannot use the slant height for the area, we always need the perpendicular height. So we can use the same triangle, and now we can use sine because we need to find the opposite now. So now sine of 60 equals to h over 12. So 12 times sine 60 gives us the value of h, which equals 10.39 centimeters. So we have the height, we have the parallel side, so it's very simple now. We just have to plug in the values in the area of trapezium formula and find our area. 1 over 2 times 10.39 times 35 plus 47, and that's going to give us 425.99. They want the answer correct to 3 significant figures, so we round that to 426 centimeters square. That's your answer. If you're someone who wants to split the shape into a rectangle and triangle, like 2 triangles in 1 rectangle, you can also do that. But personally, I think just using the trapezium is much simpler and less time consuming, because then you have to do a separate calculation to find the rectangle, then a separate to find the triangle, and then adding it up. So I think this would save time, given that you know how to use the area of trapezium formula, how to use SOHCAHTOA to figure out the missing lengths, because it has 2 right angle triangles in this trapezium. So you need to be able to recognize these things in order for you to solve it correctly. And with that, we're done with paper 1 for foundation for May, June 2025. If you have any questions or confusions, please leave a comment below and I'll help you out. And if you're someone who understood everything, please like and subscribe, share this video with your friends, and stay tuned for paper 2 because I'll be uploading that in the coming days as well.